And then before we actually start the show, I'm gonna personally DM Katie and Jesus in one single thing.
Mm-hmm.
That way they can come in when it's their turn to come in.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to worry about
which one's Katie doing?
She's doing all out. I since she was the first one to get back to me, she got to pick which one she wanted. Then it was my friend Jesus, and he's like, "Are you cool with Worlds Collide?" Because
I think Worlds Collide is gonna be the better show.
Oh, it's gonna be so fun.
It looks so fun.
All right, gonna give it a minute or so to let some people get in here, and then we'll start.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I won't keep you that long. I'll keep you for like maybe 20, 30 minutes, Garn.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right. Let me just send them the link just to make sure. Have you actually been keeping up with some WWE wrestling, Garn, or like?
WWE. I kept up a little bit now with all the changes. So
with Papa H.
Yeah, it's good changes. It's slow change, but you could tell there's direction now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm a little excited. So and then All Out. I might get. I'm starting to kind of get back in because I saw Punk's promo, which was really good. But Punk's always good at talking. But I just hated how it got to that point,
right?
Where it could have just been just do the interim championship versus that, and not waste that whole match.
Okay, I was gonna say we'll talk about it, but we're not actually gonna talk about.
But that's all about it.
Talk about All Out together, but you know what? Yeah, man.
It just didn't make sense.
It took the wins out of myself for it. Not gonna lie.
They could have pulled it off with like Punk just like fighting someone else and then slightly getting injured, but still win. But he's coming in an injury, and then you see Moxley hanging on the back, be like, ha ha ha, you're just. Your title's still mine kind of deal. Yeah. And then you could have done the exact same promo. Almost the exact same situation with that promo.
Or, you know what? Maybe not go ahead and like have
him lose the title.
Maybe not have him lose the title. Why not just have a
match? Well, I'm just saying he could have a match, like a match with someone else in like Blackpool Club and then fake that injury,
Like, that's true.
Something like that. True. And it won't be a title match, it'd be like a warm-up match.
Oh, yeah. I feel like there's so many things they could have done. There's so many things they could have done.
Yeah, it's just okay. I didn't like how they did. They figured it out, they got the show back, but it's just I wish they didn't have to do that. That's all.
All right, so guys, we haven't started yet. We're waiting for like a couple people to roll in or just like give it a minute. Tweeting out and make sure that people know that we're live. But we will be getting started with Clash of the Castle first with Garn in a bit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think I'm good to go, Garn. How are you feeling? You good?
I feel good.
All right. So we'll get started. I'll play the intro and then we'll just go from there. How's that?
Cool.
All right. Don't worry, Garn. You're still in here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Straight Talk podcast. Of course, I am your host, as always, Mr. SES Vince. We have a very busy wrestling weekend lined up, and I thought there was no better way to celebrate or commemorate all the wrestling we're gonna have than by doing the predictions episode from start to finish, covering the three big major pay-per-views going on this weekend between WWE, NXT, and AEW. I brought myself three amazing guests to help cover these shows and like predict them with me. Before we get started and introduce all our guests, I want to go ahead and remind everyone to go ahead and follow us, subscribe, download wherever you consume all your audio podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, the works. We're available everywhere. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. But with that being said, we're not going to waste any time because there's, like I said, a lot of wrestling. And I'm going to introduce my very first guest. He is a member of the Get Show podcast and was recently on the Straight Talk podcast 2 episodes ago. Of course, I'm talking about Garn from the Get Show podcast. How's it going, Garn?
Yo, I am going Shawn Michaels in this barber shop. I'm going solo. I don't need my Marty Jindrak. my Marty Jannetty. I'm sorry, not Jindrak.
Your Marty Jindrak.
I got mixed up. Marty Jannetty. I don't need my Marty Jannetties anymore.
Oh my god.
I'm on my own for now. So what's up?
Not much. Like I said, man, I wasn't actually supposed to even do this episode. It just kind of came to me like 2 days ago, and I'm like, why not do a predictions episode? For those that did not know, I got my start in doing any kind of content creation by doing WWE predictions videos on YouTube for the pay-per-views. So I thought it'd be a nice episode to just sit here and just predict, get back to my original content roots, even though no one watched it back then. But we're gonna try to see if we can like reignite that flame here on Straight Talk.
Oh,
so
Clash of the Castle.
Yes.
I'm gonna throw some wild predictions out there.
I can't wait. Garn, like you mentioned, we are going to be talking about Clash of the Castle on Saturday. So we're going to go in chronological order, which I thought was best. And what I loved about this show, I'm going to bring up the match card right now in a sec. As you can see right here, there's really only 6 matches on the card unless they announce something for like the kickoff show or whatever. But this is what we have lined up for now, and I'm glad it's only like 6 matches because I feel like all the matches are going to get enough time to breathe. That crowd is going to be hot, given the fact that this is going to be the first WWE UK pay-per-view in like who knows how many years. I don't fucking know. It's been forever. I couldn't tell you, Garn.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been like, is it 2 years now? It's before, you know.
It's gonna be like at least over a decade since WWE last came to the UK in a pay-per-view form.
In a pay-per-view, yeah, but like regular touring, yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a
pre-COVID.
I'm trying to remember because I remember Finn Balor had a European match, but I just don't remember which pay-per-view. I don't think it was. Yeah, I miss. It's been a while. It's been a long while. This was it. Insurgents. This is the last one or something.
Oh, Insurgents. Yes.
Is it something ridiculous?
That's probably it. That's probably Insurgents.
Oh man.
But yeah, we got 6 matches here. Like I said, I thought that's a solid number for the pay-per-view. It's not going to drag on too long, considering there's going to be midday afternoon for us here in the States. So let's start with the very first match. And we're going to go in order in which I have the image here. We're going to start with Matt Riddle, who recently got his first name back, versus Seth freaking Rollins. Did you watch that interview they had on Raw, Garn?
Yeah, Seth Rollins owned his ass, to be honest.
For sure.
Riddle was like good effort, but Rollins, oh my god, he clearly won that.
No doubt.
I felt like it was like a moment where Randy should have just jumped in and be like, talk for him or something, come back from injury and talk for him. But yeah, it was like, oh man, it's clearly based on that promo alone, I'm making my prediction already. Since Seth Rollins has been on a losing streak in pay-per-views for a while, this is going to be one that he's going to win. And this is going to be the one where Riddle, I think in this, if you build off in terms of storyline, Riddle will fall down the dumps, and this is where Randy comes in and tries to cheer him up.
Right.
be like, hey, everything's fine. You could get back and cheer him on. And then around that moment, that's where Randy's going to turn on him.
Okay, so I like where you're going there, Goran. I like the idea of Riddle losing here and the reasoning why Seth should win. But also because if you think about it, a loss here to Riddle might add more fuel to the fight because he was hot after Seth called him out and said what he did in that promo.
Yeah.
Talking about how, like, where's your family? Oh, that's right. You don't have them because your wife divorced you and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Fucking fire promo, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Seth as well. Just because you're right, he has been losing recently. Riddle, if he wins, that's it. That's that. I feel like this match can go to the next level and go into a stipulation style match at the next pay-per-view or on Raw the next night. So I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. I got Seth Rollins going over Matt Riddle here.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree with the fact that if Riddle loses, it does build up for a bigger match.
Yeah,
for this I think it's Extreme Rules next. Oh yeah, that definitely
could be. Yeah, for sure. The next match on the docket, we have the Judgment Days, Finn Balor and Damian Priest taking on Rey Mysterio and Edge. First and foremost, we gotta add the fact that Dominic didn't seem too content or enthusiastic about the idea of Edge being in this match instead of him. Could that play into effect, or like, what is your overall thoughts on this match?
They've really been hinting hard of Dominic turning heel. It's a good opportunity for him to turn heel. Mm-hmm. However, there has to be some substance behind it in terms of, like, once Dominic turns heel, is he just going to be a single heel, or is he going to join Judgment Day heel?
I think, man, I feel like that's what everyone's been talking about. It's like Dominic should just join Judgment Day, because if not, he's just going to get his ass whooped by Rhea Ripley every single week.
Yeah. So if he does turn, but like I said, if he does turn heel, it makes more sense for him to join Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. But if he turns heel and then goes solo, he doesn't have enough star power, experience, exposure, moveset to be
experience, skills, everything.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything. Because he's always been riding on his dad.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have his. It's going to be harder for him to bring out his personality if he goes solo. Yeah. It'll be easier for him to do it like how The Rock did it. Like, his personality grew once he joined Nation. You know, same idea. So maybe Dominic will kind of develop his persona as Judgment Day, and then work from there. Ideally, that's the case. So in this matchup, I'm looking at Judgment Day as the winner of this. Just for the fact that Judgment Day needs some momentum if you want to be considered a heel faction, a top heel faction,
a credible faction.
Yeah, but right now they're nowhere near Bloodline, not even close.
No.
They're right now like the same level as like Sheamus's club. What's it called? The Brawling Brutes.
The Brawling Brutes. Yes.
They're at that level. I even bet you your favorite Legado Fantasma, when they join, they're going to be much better than these guys, these two.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah.
But I'm with you there, Goran.
They need Judgment Day to be like to be honest, Judgment Day, that spot should have been like for what's that group's called? Oh, what's that group called with Ali and Mace and
Retribution.
Yeah, that's how forgettable they are now. So but yeah, that should have been them in that spot, to be honest, because that I felt Retribution would have fit better in this situation, in that storyline. But obviously Vince McMahon can't book for shit. No, he doesn't care about new talent. No. 100%. So that's why. So yeah, Judgment Day has to win this match. Mysterio could afford to lose a pay-per-view. Edge could afford to lose a pay-per-view.
Exactly.
They did in order for Dominic to excel. He has to be the heel and turn on them. I would say that's a smart play.
Oh, 100% agree with
Yeah.
you, Gordon. Edge recently got a win in his hometown of Toronto. Rey Mysterio, unfortunately, that man consistently lives taking L's.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the X factor here is going to be Dominic. I think Edge and Rey Mysterio are going to be in a spot where they're about to win or could win. And then Dominic comes out trying to help and costs them the match, allowing Judgment Day to pick up the win.
Mm-hmm.
Either because he comes out in their corner and Rhea Ripley attacks him and that causes a distraction inadvertently or intentionally, whatever the case will be. I think Dominic will eventually cost the team of Rey and Edge the match. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this card, and I feel like we're about to agree in all six of these matches.
Now let me ask you this question, though. This is going to be a side question. With Rhea Ripley in this match, does this kind of open the door for a possible mixed tag, like mixed tag
with Beth? I think that's where they're heading next.
Yeah,
I think that could be next. I wouldn't even be surprised if you see Beth on Sunday.
Yeah.
Or Saturday afternoon. I forget. Sometimes it's kind of like difficult with WWE because some pay-per-views they have him on Saturday, some pay-per-views they have on Sunday. So I always never remember like until the week of or like the day of.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're both in agreement here with Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next match, I'm gonna remove it and just go back to it in case we forget. But the next match on the docket is the Intercontinental Championship match between Gunther and Sheamus of the Brawling Brutes, as you mentioned.
Finally, an Intercontinental match on a pay-per-view since WrestleMania, I think.
Yes, when was it that Apollo beat Big E or who?
It's Apollo beating Big E and in such a short match, But yeah, I think it's since WrestleMania, since April.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
But this is, I think, the match of the night.
Okay.
This will be probably the match of the night. There's going to be so much bloody red chest on everyone. Sheamus is going to look like a candy cane.
He's going to look like that Bulls jersey behind me.
Oh, right yeah. But he's straight up candy cane because with Gunther, he only chops only at this point right here. Mm-hmm. So you get one long red stripe. With Sheamus, he will just pound on Gunther, so he'll be half red, half white, whatever.
He's going to look like a Voltorb or a Pokemon.
Yes. He'll look like a Bulls jersey wearing like the home jersey and wearing the away shorts kind of deal. Or yeah. Or I mean, I'm switching around. Away short jersey and shorts, white shorts, home shorts. Yeah. But this is going to be the match tonight. But there was something that really bothered me about this build.
Okay.
When they did that when they did that the promo before the promo where they just stand there and stare at each other while their side pieces start fighting against each other. How did Ludwig Kaiser fought off Ridge Holland and then former UK champion by himself against those two?
Maybe we underestimated Ludwig Kaiser's potential and in-ring ability.
Yes. Ludwig Kaiser is a UK tag team champ and and I think he's an NXT champ, right? Just regular NXT. No,
just NXT UK tag champs and NXT tag champs.
Yeah.
Well, after Sunday, they're going to be the same thing because they're going to be unified.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. But how did that one man took on Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne?
I don't know.
I don't know how. And then just the fact that Sheamus only took one arm to hold Ridge Holland, and Ridge Holland is just like a ginormous man. And then that surprised me. I loved how that promo went. It just didn't make sense. The fact that there was one guy fighting off two brutes and winning.
And then Sheamus and Gunther still locking eyes, never letting go.
That's brilliant. If it made sense, if it was like,
2-on-2,
it was 2-on-2. with the back side pieces and just have them have them stare at each other. That would have been perfect. But
Brawling side pieces.
But this, side pieces. I went with side pieces because Ludwig is clearly a side piece there.
Oh, definitely.
But this match is gonna steal the show. This could very well been like British Bulldog winning the title and the main event, Intercontinental kind of feel to it.
Okay.
I feel like it. It's nothing. It's gonna be a pure brawl. It's gonna be. If the only thing I wish it was like an Irish bar match kind of deal, instead of
it's gonna be pretty close minus the weapons.
Yeah, without the weapons. So this one's a tough one for me because in my mind I'm like Sheamus deserves the Grand Slam.
Yeah, because he's been pushing that narrative. He's been pushing that narrative.
But if you want to keep Gunther as a main player or a future main player, he needs to hold on that championship a little bit longer, and he needs to build a repertoire of beating people over and over again like he did in NXT UK when he held that championship for almost 800 days or something like that,
Oh yeah, ridiculous amount.
So I'm hoping they kind of do that same build where they make him a legitimate pro wrestler. Or there's a possibility, because even if he loses and they try to put him up against like Roman Reigns, it's too fast. They need to simmer a little bit, let the water simmer before it reaches to a hot boil. So I think, in my prediction, Gunther wins this match.
All right. See, this is what I meant by us agreeing. Like, I'm not going to take too long on this. I'm going to go Gunther. Just for the simple fact that, like you said, you want to establish this guy as the top guy. Triple H just took over, and they're making Sheamus feel like a credible champion. Maybe they can milk this for another match or two, just like what we said with Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. So I think Clash of the Castle is just going to be like a stopping point into like the next pay-per-view. So I got Gunther as well retaining. It's too soon. It's the first time you put the IC title on a pay-per-view. You can't have the champion lose the first time it's on pay-per-view since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All right.
I've also heard rumors that Butch is going to wear his Pete Dunne gear
on SmackDown. SmackDown. Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be really, really cool.
All right, Guard. Next match.
All right.
We have the SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan defending against Shayna Basler.
All right.
What's your prediction here?
This is going to be, I know I want Shayna to win, but with Ronda hanging on the back, this is going to build up to a triple threat match at ECW Extreme Rules.
ECW Extreme Rules One Night Stand.
November to Remember.
December to Dismember.
Oh, that's a terrible one.
Oh my god!
But I think this is gonna be Liv Morgan's win, but it's gonna be a controversial win.
Similar to Ronda.
Similar to her last title defense too against Ronda. Okay. This has Ronda interfering all over the place, where Ronda interferes this match. Shayna's gonna get pissed off, and they start fighting.
Interesting.
So that will build into a triple threat where Liv Morgan's like throwing a promo. She's like, "Hey, I deserve this. Yeah, I want." And she wants to prove to the world that she could win legitimately, without any interference or anything like that. So she would open up for a triple threat match for the title and the next pay-per-view with Liv Morgan versus Shayna Basler versus Ronda Rousey.
All right.
Yeah. It's a little wild, but I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are going to say Shayna Basler are going to win this, and then build up to Ronda, and then Liv Morgan is just going to be a transitional champion. But I feel, just to prove them wrong, just to say Liv Morgan survives this and then builds a storyline for it. So
I'm going to slightly agree with you. I'm going to say that Liv Morgan picks up the victory here via disqualification because Shayna just goes too into it and gets disqualified. So I think Shayna gets disqualified because she just gets too vicious, too brutal. And then at the end, she just brutalizes Liv at the end of the match. I don't think we'll see Ronda. I think she might play a factor on SmackDown the following week, but I don't anticipate Ronda showing up for the pay-per-view. I'm gonna say that Liv picks up the victory via disqualification, but it does look like Shayna should have won. So I'm similar to you. Next up, a second to last match here, Gordon, and I'll let you go. We have the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka taking on the team of Damage Control featuring Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai.
Is it officially called Damage Control now?
I think that's what they're called, Damage Control or Control, whatever.
It's not official until I see merch. So right now it's BDI, bid. So bid.
Yeah.
Or did, either or.
Did, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, this is such a throwaway match.
It does, right?
But it's a throwaway match that needs to make that has to have Bayley, Dakota, and Io look good. So this has to be their win because it's already bad enough that they lost their tag team titles. I guess in the fashion they lost it though. I think if I saw it correctly, I think Dakota was not the legal person when she got pinned. So I think it was such a mess. If I recall.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, the way it went was they were attacking Raquel, who was not the legal person because Aaliyah got a sneaky hot tag. And then she rolled up, I think it was Dakota. Yeah. And they were distracted by Alexa.
Was Dakota the legal person, though?
I think so.
I thought it was Io.
I might have to go back and watch it, but given the fact that they lost via distraction to the team they're going to face, I think it's a foregone conclusion they win this match. I don't even think it's close.
Yeah, they have to win because especially at the end of at that tag team match when you see Alexa Bliss and Asuka cheering them on on the outside and Bianca too, I was like, oh, this is just they're really trying to rub their noses in. So it's they have to prove, they have to show that this group is a good group instead of just a throwaway group. Yeah,
especially if the rumors that Sasha and Naomi might show up. Maybe they show up after this match. Maybe they show up on Raw. So I would think that if they don't go straight to the tag titles, the natural opponent for them or matchup for Naomi and Sasha would be the team of Io Sky and Dakota Kai.
Interesting. I don't know. They've been I don't know about the Sasha thing because they've been taking down signs at shows.
Maybe.
I think this is Sasha. So
I think it's a more matter of when, not if we see Sasha and Naomi back. I think they're just waiting. They're just waiting for that. Next final match here, Garn, and then we'll let you go on your way. We have the unified, undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, World of the Title, whatever the fuck they're calling the world title now. You have Drew McIntyre taking on the champion Roman Reigns. Garn, who do you think will win here and why?
All right. In our Get Your Podcast episode from our last recent episode, so check us out on it. We were discussing about this match too. And there was an Austin theory made where there are talks of Drew McIntyre winning this match. So the idea was that Drew McIntyre will win the titles from Roman. Roman needs a break. He's been champion for so long. He needs a break. He has 10 kids or something like that. But Theory cashes in his Money in the Bank at Clash. Wins.
A real Austin Theory.
Yeah. There's more to it. Wins the titles. He thinks he wins both titles, but in the contract itself, it just wins a title. So that's how they're going to split up
That's one way. That's an interesting way to do it.
That was the theory. So that was the Austin theory. So that way, Drew could will take one title.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Theory will have the other title, and that's where Gargano jumps in, have their feud.
See, man, your fantasy booking here is
it's
off the
wild.
chart. Like,
this one's wild. Yeah, this one's very wild. And then this opens up McIntyre versus what's the next Karrion Kross.
Yeah, that's true.
So
you think you think Roman's gonna lose for sure?
Let's see, because Brock's not coming back anytime soon.
No.
So there's no build up. They're not going to build up Brock Lesnar for the next major pay-per-view, like the top 4, which would be next one will be Survivor Series.
The next big 4 would be Survivor Series, yes.
Yeah, and that's not like a big enough show for Brock to do, to be honest.
I would hope they don't do Brock anymore.
Yeah, I
feel like they've done that too much.
Yeah, I think because Brock and Roman have been going on for like the past 10 years. 5 WrestleManias, I think, too.
Yeah.
Almost the same moves, except for the last one was at least slightly different with the whole the gimmicks of the ring and all that other stuff. But assuming Paul Heyman is not there because he's technically hurt from the Brock Lesnar attack.
Right.
Assuming he's not there, I would say Drew will win, and then everything will fall into place in terms of Austin Theory taking over.
All right.
I know it's super wild.
I like it. I like bold predictions, man.
Yeah, it's super wild. And that's the only, because with Roman holding both titles, it's not benefiting any of the brands, to be honest, because he's not even going on both shows all the time, which is it's like it detracts from what the true champion should be. He should be a fighting champion. If he wants to go, if he has both titles, you go on both shows and fight. Yes, I get the whole idea of like, oh yes, I am too powerful. I don't need to deal with all this stuff. Yeah, but then you have to kind of like have people like try to like have I was thinking like you gotta have to have people motivated to see like a champion there, you know. So it's kind of like I think it's due that one. Also, I also wanted to say Drew McIntyre to win because he never won the championship in front of a crowd.
That's true.
So I think he deserves
it. If you're gonna do it in front of the crowd,
you do it in his crowd.
Yes, in his crowd. Have you been seeing that he's been teasing bringing back "Broken Dreams," this old theme song from back in the day?
I heard about that. Yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting.
So I'm gonna take the safe bet here, Goran. I'm gonna say that Roman Reigns wins. I don't even think we get a Austin Theory cash in. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna have us forget that he's the Money in the Bank winner and have him be in a feud with Johnny without the title. Because as much as Triple H may love Johnny, I don't think they're gonna put him right into the title picture from the jump. I think Drew can lose here, either being cost by Karrion Kross or just straight up loss to Roman Reigns and shenanigans from the Bloodline, because they're all going to be there. Maybe Sammy costs him the match, and Roman picks up the victory. Then that allows you to transition from Drew to Karrion Kross, and then Roman continues coasting through life. With hopefully, I'm hoping at some point we get Sami Zayn turning on the Bloodline and going after the title, not necessarily winning the title, but going after the title.
Interesting. With the Sami Zayn going for the title.
Yeah, because I want Sami Zayn to chase the title. I want him to turn babyface and go back to the NXT Sami Zayn that we know.
Interesting. I kind of like that too.
Both options aren't bad.
And Triple H since Triple H is controlling creative, that is a better creative story. Yes, you do have Karrion Kross and other bigger talent, but you could always go back to your old reliables because it worked with Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, that's true.
Worked with Big E, so,
for sure.
Anything could go, anything goes.
All right. So, Goran, before we let you sign off, what's the match you're most looking forward to? Is it the Sheamus match?
It's definitely the Sheamus and Gunther match. It's going to be a hard fought European brawl, European style wrestling, and with Gunther's caliber, this is the first opportunity for him to show show his stuff in pay-per-view. Yes, he had matches in SmackDown and Raw, but he deserves pay-per-view match. He deserves a 20-minute match.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, Garn, thanks again for joining the show. Before you sign off, go ahead and plug Get Your Podcast. You guys recently dropped an episode yesterday, right?
Yes, we dropped an episode with your co-host Matt
Matt was on it, and I didn't get an invite. Oh, the blasphemy!
Well, Justin does all the invites, so that's I don't know.
And okay, so blame Justin is what you're saying.
Yes, blame Justin.
Blame Justin. Okay,
blame Marty Jannetty. But then Katie was on too. So your other.
Oh, okay. Today, so everyone for SmackDown Raw was on the show minus me. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
Well, you were on a couple of shows already too, but yeah, we just released an episode on Monday. So
yeah,
check us out at Get Your Podcast. Check us out on our social media at Get Your Podcast as well. So. Mm-hmm. We're on there, so yeah.
Well, Goran, I appreciate it. Thank you again for being on the show. Don't go anywhere, guys. We will be bringing in someone else to talk Worlds Collide. Goran, thanks again, man.
Catch you later. Tasty. Check it out. Bye.
All right, so that was Goran. Thanks again to Goran for being on the show and talking Worlds Collide, Clash of the Castle with us. But we're not done. We're going to talk about the other WWE show or NXT show lined up for Sunday morning, afternoon. I don't fucking know. To help cover and predict the show, he is going to be making his podcasting debut, if I'm not mistaken. He is my very good friend and fantastic Twitter follow. Of course, I'm talking about my friend Jesus. Jesus,
what's up?
Sup, dude? How you doing?
I'm all right. How about you?
Thanks for being up late with me, man. It's what, like 11? It's 11:11. Make a wish. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Don't tell us your wish until you leave. Okay.
All right.
Or else it won't come true. So, Jesus, we are here to talk about NXT Worlds Collide, and you're one of the bigger NXT heads that I know. So I thought this was the perfect show for you to help predict with me. So we're going to show the card right now on the screen, and we're going to go one by one based on the card. We only have 5 matches announced for the show. We're not going to talk about the pre-show, anything that's lined up for the pre-show or anything like that, kickoff show. We're not going to be talking about just the main card. And just like NXT TakeOvers, it's usually like a good 4 to 5 matches, and just going to go from there. What's the match you're most looking forward to before we get started?
I probably gotta go with Melo and Ricochet. When Nikki and Doudrop showed up to challenge Casey and Caden, that thought in my head popped up of like, okay, Melo's gonna come out and he's gonna address not being on the show. So that thought popped up into my head of who from the main roster might show up to challenge him. And when Ricochet showed up, the first thought that came to me was instant banger. So I think that's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Definitely, dude. Because just like Ricochet, just like on the main roster, hasn't really had a chance to do much like he did in NXT. But people forget that him and Melo are probably going to steal the goddamn show.
Yeah, they kind of have like similar styles too. So I think, that for sure is going to be match of the night, probably, or match of the afternoon.
Match of the afternoon. All right. So let's get started with the first match here, and that's the one you mentioned: the NXT Women's Tag Champions, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, taking on the team of Doudrop and Nikki ASH. What do you have here and why, Jesus? What do you have here and why?
I gotta go with Team Ninja, I guess that's what you like to call them. Casey Ninja and Caden. They just won the titles. I don't know. I don't think they probably have him drop him so soon after they just won the titles. And I think right now is the perfect time to like show what they can do as a team with the titles against two main roster stars with Nikki and Doudrop.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's good. I agree with you, man, because like they just like you said, they just won the titles, and Nikki and Doudrop couldn't even win out of the first round. They had two chances to advance in that women's
Yeah,
tag
they,
tournament on WWE, and they couldn't advance in either of them. So I don't think they'll beat the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions,
yeah.
which I
Plus,
hope changes.
yeah, and I don't know. I think like on Raw, like you see them in the background. I think this past Monday or so,
Hmm.
that or maybe last week, they were like seen like I guess they were arguing or something, but like you can't really like tell like what they're saying. So
Hmm.
maybe that plays into that match, or but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like we talked about on the previous episode with Katie, and we fantasy booked the women's tag team tournament. We just decided to just rebrand them as the new Sanity tag team, with
Yeah.
Nikki going back to Nikki Cross and Doudrop being Piper Niven. I
Hmm.
thought that would probably like be the best way forward. Like, I think they just need to get away from Nikki being a superhero. She needs to be back Nikki Cross, and I think I take them more seriously. But
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to the next match. We have a fatal four-way NXT Tag Team Title Unification match. I was wondering how they were going to do this, given
I
the
think
fact,
this one's elimination style.
is it elimination?
Yeah, I think so.
That's going to make it so much better. That's going to make it
Yeah.
so much better if it's elimination style. I hope it's elimination style. I don't like fatal four-way tag matches or triple threat tag matches where it's like
Es-
first fall to the finish. I think those are kind of lame.
Especially if it's like one person from one team and then another person from another, and then
Uh,
the other two like still like on the corner. It's like that's not really a fatal four way.
No, it's not. It's not really a fatal four way. Okay, because like my biggest question was here is like Brooks and Jensen. I don't know the other dude's name. I just call him Brooks and Jensen, right?
Yeah.
They're the UK champions, but they're on NXT 2.0. Then you have Diamond Mine as the current main NXT champions. Then you have the two UK teams that aren't even champions,
Yeah.
and Pretty Deadly and Gallus. Um, I like what they did here. I did not want to see Brooks and Jensen versus Diamond Mine because I thought that would have been a whack match to have on like a takeover. This is essentially a takeover if you think
I
about
mean,
it.
it's not really worlds colliding if it's just one world that they're part of.
Exactly. Um, let's start off by let's do this one differently. Since you think it's since you're saying it's elimination, we're gonna do this elimination style as well. Let's eliminate the team that is probably not gonna walk away as the winner here. Who's the most likely to not win?
Hmm, probably Brooks and Jensen.
All right, fair enough. Now let's make it a triple threat between Pretty Deadly, Gallus, and Diamond Mine. Between those three teams, who do you think is less likely to win?
That one would be pretty deadly.
All right, so now we're down to Gallus versus Diamond Mine, which I think might be the final two.
Yeah, because I
So
think they were the main ones who attacked them, like when they
yes.
first showed up a few weeks ago, or I don't know how long ago it was now, but yeah, I think those are the two main teams that are probably gonna go for, I guess, unifying both titles.
Hmm.
So my prediction, I think it's gonna be Diamond Mine, the Creed brothers.
Really?
Yep,
Okay. How do you like the Creed brothers? I don't think we've ever talked about like 2.0 ever since it became a thing. How do
I
you even
like
feel
them.
about them?
I don't know, like they kind of have like this they're like I guess kind of remind me of Team Angle in a bit,
Hmm.
kind of, but like I don't know, like I know I heard you say that Julius, like there's something about him that you like he kind of has that little I guess he's okay at promos. I think he'll get there eventually,
Hmm.
but like yeah, I think I don't know, just their style, the way they wrestle, like it's pretty cool like to see, and
Definitely.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I'm a big fan of like those amateur wrestling tag teams, dude.
Yeah,
Like you mentioned Team Angle, but then also American Alpha.
yeah.
People forget about American Alpha. Like it was such a great tag team as well, and I like them. I don't know, man. I feel like some UK people need to win here, or else it's gonna feel like that one Survivor Series where all of Raw won except for Roman Reigns. Like Roman Reigns was the only one that won on the SmackDown side. I think it was like a year or two ago. It was. I don't think they'll do that. So I think my prediction here is it's going to be Gallus. I think Gallus is the new team. They technically won, but didn't really win on NXT. I think Pretty Deadly, they're an afterthought right now, and so is Brooks and Jensen. And I think Roddy is the X factor here, man.
Yeah,
Roddy might come in here and just fuck everything up.
Just
Roddy,
just screw them over.
Dude, man, Roddy fucks everything up now. What the fuck happened?
I'm telling you, man. Ever since the UE left, he hasn't been the same.
Oh no, yeah. Ever since UE's gone, like Roddy's been fucking everything up. Okay, so we're in disagreement here. I got Gallus and you got Diamond Mike, right?
Yeah, but I could also see that happening too with Roddy screwing them over. So yeah.
All right, so let's talk about your match of the night. We have Melo, don't miss, Carmelo Hayes defending his North American Championship against Ricochet. Who you got here and why, man?
I got Melo on this one. Like I think Ricochet, like I guess you could call it a special attraction match in a way. I don't see Ricochet like just like, oh, he just dropped the IC title a few months back to Gunther, and now he's gonna go back to NXT and just win the North American title. I think Melo right now, like, he's one of the best champions that they've had, and yeah, I don't see him losing the title anytime soon right now.
I think Melo's even better than Braun. Like they got Braun as the main champion, but like Melo don't lie. Like he's the A champion. He's the top champion in NXT. I'm with you, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Ricochet wins though. Just for the simple fact that this might be a permanent call down to NXT. We didn't think Mandy Rose was going to win the title, and then look at her. She's almost one of the longest reigning NXT Women's Champions in who knows how long.
Yeah, but before she won the title, like she was already there for like a few months, and then like I mean Ricochet, like I don't know if he wins the title back, like a week after being back with NXT.
Okay, I can see that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Melo. I'm gonna go with Melo too because that's a safe bet. I've been going kind of with the safe bets here. What I
Melo
actually
don't
think
miss.
Melo don't miss, and up until this point, Melo hasn't missed. Until he misses, I'm not gonna count him out. Next up, just speaking of Mandy Rose, we have Mandy Rose in a triple threat match against Blair Davenport and Meiko Satomura. I hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Meiko Satomura, they made her feel like such a big deal. And I'll talk about this more on Smack and Raw podcast. I loved all the interactions with all the former NXT Women's Champions, NXT Champions, men's and women's. I loved how there was like this parade of champions of the past. Really made these two matches feel very important. So I'm very much looking forward more to this match than the world title match, Unification. And Blair Davenport, I think it's like she's the wild card because I don't like Blair Davenport because I don't fuck with her or Will Ospreay.
Me neither. I think her biggest claim to fame is you're a fucking dentist.
Yeah, that's about it. That's her biggest claim to fame. But I don't know. I guess I'll ask you this. First, I'll ask you who do you want to win this match, and then you'll tell me who you think will win it, whether it's the same person or it's someone different.
So who I want to win is Mandy.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I like it's already September. I think she won the title last October. So
that sounds right.
Yeah, just get to 1 year. Like let her just get to 1 year, and then after that, like if you want to have her lose the title, lose it, or just hold on to it for however long you need her to. But yeah, that's who I want to win. And as far as prediction, I think she wins it too.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna say that I want Meiko to win it because I think she'd be a cooler champion to actually hold on to. And then also too, like I said, I think that it should be split 50-50 with two UK NXT UK winners and two NXT 2.0 winners. So spoiler, but I don't see Mandy Rose walking away with this one. I'm gonna go with Mako, man. I'm gonna go with Mako Satomura. They made her feel like a legit. They could always get the title back on Mandy if they want to do that. But there's also been like reports that they might be calling up Mandy Rose and Toxic Attraction as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It just depends on if they're going to call them up or not. Then I think it's going to be Mako. If they're not going to call them up in the immediate future, then I think it will be Mandy retaining with Mako later getting her rematch.
I mean, I think you could still call her up as champion. I mean, when Paige, when she was still the champion,
Mm-hmm.
and then when Sasha was called up, she was also the NXT Women's Champion. So I think maybe you could call her up while she's champion, and then have her lose it like I don't
Right.
know, like not too long after being called up again.
I'm gonna say Mako wins.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I go
say
with Mandy.
I'm gonna go with Mako. All right. So last match on the docket, Jesus, and then I'll let you go on about your ways and go to bed. We have the NXT champion Braun Breaker taking on the NXT UK champion Tyler Bates in a unification match as well. Now, I think there was a little bit of controversy here because they were supposedly doing like a NXT UK title tournament, and Tyler Bates showed up like before the tournament even
They
started.
spoiled their own show.
Yeah, they spoiled their own show because it was pre-taped, and then like so many of the people that were in the tournament got released by WWE. So it's like, why
There's
even
no
fucking?
point. Like there's just here's the title. Go to Florida.
Yeah, before this edition of NXT that happened yesterday, I was like, it's a foregone conclusion. They're just gonna get a Braun. They fucking love Braun. They're just gonna give it to him. And then, as much as I like Tyler Bate, him with the ponytail and the long hair just doesn't do it for me when he's wrestling. He just he looks funny. I can't take him seriously. But after all the like parade of champions, like we mentioned, you saw Tommaso Ciampa, you saw Butch, you saw Gunther, you saw Finn, you saw all those people show up and add credibility and legitimacy to both of those titles. I'm kind of torn here, man. I think this is probably the one that could probably go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if they just give the win to Braun because that's probably the safest bet here. But they could swerve us and just give it to Tyler. What do you think, man?
I think I don't know. I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if Tyler won because
Oh, me either.
I don't see who anybody else or who on the roster right now can beat Braun.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like right now, if you were to call him up, maybe right now would be the perfect time for him to drop the title and bring him up to Raw or SmackDown.
All right, that's fair. I don't know, man. I feel like I might just flip a coin for this prediction here because it's just like that.
Pick the flower petals off your flower.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say Braun. I'm gonna say Braun. I don't think he is getting called up anytime soon. And Tyler Bate kind of felt like a transitional champion in the sense where it was Ilya Dragunov that was champion prior to him. He got injured, so they had to crown a champion. And then this just kind of felt like it was thrown together last minute. They did a fantastic job to add meaning and stakes to these matches, but I still am not like 100% sold on Tyler Bate. I think it's the hair, man. I think it's the hair. Because like he runs around, he has no knee pads. He has like the thickest thighs and calves I've ever seen a man wear. And he's literally looks like he's just wrestling in boots and underwear, running around with his golden locks flowing through the wind. And
So I haven't seen any of his matches in a while, so like I think that's why Ritter calls him. It kind of reminds him of Matt Riddle, I guess.
I don't know, man. I'll talk to Matt about it tomorrow when we do a SmackDown. Or you can ask him in the live stream because I know you tune into the live streams for that, man. Which I
Yeah, I love
appreciate.
heckling you.
All right. So your official prediction was what again?
I think I'm gonna go with Tyler Bate.
Okay, so you got Tyler Bate and I got Braun Breaker. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, we both got Team Ninja. We both have Mello, and then we differ on the tag team title match, which you have Diamond Mine, I have Gallus. You have Mandy, while I have Mako, and then you have Tyler, while I have Braun.
Yep.
Sounds good.
So we basically did a switcheroo on the last one.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Jesus, obviously, I put your Twitter handle on the screen right here, but like for people listening, like, do you want to share or plug anything where they can find you?
Yeah, just follow that handle on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not a
Spell it out for
podcaster.
them. Spell it out or like say it for them because it like this will be going in audio form. So like
You
for
can
the audio listen.
follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Coudejebus, COUPDEJEEBUSZ. And yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Uh, did I in fact pop your podcast in cherry? Jesus.
Yeah, I
All right.
guess.
How was it doing like your first impromptu podcast? Because I asked you like a couple hours ago. This was
No,
not planned.
it's funny because when you asked me, I was listening to the last one that you did with Katie.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to that, and then so like yeah, like I saw he mentions a lot. Yeah, that's funny that he's asking me to do his podcast while I'm listening to his podcast.
It was meant to be. It was written in the cards.
And it's
All right.
also very fitting that you asked me to cover Worlds Collide because I went to the last Worlds Collide that they had.
Yeah, there you go. It all came
Yeah,
together, full
I like
circle.
look right here.
Oh, look at that. He came prepared. Oh my God, I love Jesus. He came prepared. He brought the merch and everything.
I'm such a fucking geek.
You're a mark, but you're my mark, Jesus. Thank you for joining the show. Like I said, he's a fantastic follower. He's not a podcaster, but go ahead and follow him on Twitter. He's a fantastic follower. Check him out. Thanks again, Jesus. I'll catch you later, man.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Jesus. And we've already covered the WWE portion of the wrestling weekend. And now we have AEW's All Out here in Chicago, Illinois. So obviously we had to do this episode. So, man, I couldn't really cover All Elite Wrestling without a very elite guest, podcaster, and content creator. Of course, I'm talking about my prior guest on the prior episode, Miss Katie Kinsey Bay. How's it going, Katie?
Oh, you know, I'm here, chilling.
Killing. Waiting for Jesus to get off the stream and talk about so we can talk about All Out. Have you been watching the episode so far? Have you caught up with some of it?
I got the whole thing.
Okay. What do you think so far? Like before we get into All Out, because there is a lot to talk about All Out. What do you think so far? Like quick thoughts on Worlds Collide and Clash, because you're not talking about them.
Clash has the potential to be a good card. There isn't a lot on there, this is like 10, but it's a smaller card, but that also means like there should be good time for each match. Worlds Collide probably has me more excited than Clash. I mean, like Ricochet versus Melo, come on.
Mouth watering.
It's when as soon as I heard one and only, I was like, oh my God.
Imagine if it was his old theme song too. It would have been a bigger pop.
Should do. If people from NXT end up like dropping back down and being like, hey, what's up, hello, to people in NXT, they need to have their old NXT themes.
Oh yeah, 100%. So like I mentioned, Katie's here to talk about All Out, and this is the pay-per-view that has the most matches. As far as my count goes, I have 10. If I missed a match or two, I am sorry. Like I've mentioned previously with Goran and Jesus, we are not talking about kickoff, 0 hours, pre-shows, whatever, because AEW already has too many matches. So we're going to get started with, I had to separate it in two different clips because there were so many. So we're going to do the first one. We're going to cover the main chunk of it. And that is going to be the very first match. As you can see, there's like 8 matches here on the screen. But we're going to go from top to bottom. We're going to start with Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, taking on Lionheart Chris Jericho. Tell me why I should care about this match, Katie, even though I've already seen this on the debut episode of NXT.
Why you should care about this match? Because basically it's the custody of Daniel Garcia. Now, Garcia may have been like, Jericho, listen, I pledge my allegiance to the Jagoffs, but then stopped the main Jagoff himself from hitting Bryan with a chair.
Right.
So, like, where does the loyalty lie, Danny? I think Daniel Garcia is going to screw over Jericho, finally join Blackpool Combat Club, or the BBC, as Regal put it once. I have the American Dragon Jake Long, Bryan Danielson winning, just because I fucking can't stand Chris Jericho.
Yeah, just see. Here's the thing: I can't stand Jericho either. Like every time we're on SmackDown or Raw, I spit his existence whenever he shows up on Dynamite. Yeah, which spoiler, I'm going to do again this week. Just for the simple fact, because fuck Chris Jericho, I'm going to go Bryan Danielson. I'm not even going to go into details with that match. I'm like Bryan Danielson because fuck Chris Jericho.
That's why. Just because Jericho sucks.
Okay, this one I'm more interested in, and it's probably the one match that I'm like one of the top 3-4 matches that I'm most looking forward to this weekend, and that's the Casino Ladder match. We have 6 competitors announced with we have 7 competitors announced with an 8th Joker. Yep. Surprise, see who it is. We have Claudio Mostacholi taking on Pretty Kyle, Pentacero Miedo, Ray FedEx, Rush, or Moulin Rouge, Andrade Idolo, and Dante Martin? Dante Martin. Okay. I wasn't sure. I didn't anticipate how small everyone's going to look on the share screen here.
That's all right. I wrote everything down.
Perfect. So this is probably going to be the clusterfuck match because they always have one clusterfuck match in every pay-per-view. And this is it. Is it going to be the Joker? Does it matter who the Joker is, or do you think the winner is in the match graphic here?
Well, here's the thing. Tony Khan has blew his load multiple times with bringing people in, and there's not really many people you can still bring in unless you be oh, who's someone we haven't thought about in a while? Oh yeah, Maxwell, and you bring him in,
right?
But which is what a lot of people are speculating is that Max is going to be the Joker for the ladder match. Part of me doesn't think so, but then the winner of this does get a future title match. So it could be. But personally, this match is going to fucking slap. Because the names, I mean, I love them all. Don't really like Roosh. Not a big fan.
Well, I like Roosh because he's Mexican.
Okay. All right.
Well, also too, I like his moveset. I feel like he hits hard, and I like wrestlers that hit hard.
I mean, you've Claudio, Pretty Kyle, the Lucha Bros, Andrade, Dante. The people are going to be flying all over the place, jumping off 15 ladders at a time. Personally, I kind of want Andrade to win.
Yes, I'm with you here.
You have Claudio, the ROH world champion.
Is he the
Yuta.
world champion?
Yeah. Smojo's the TV champion.
Why does the world title look worse than the TV title?
I don't know. I don't design the belts. But then you have Yuta, who's the ROH pure champion, so neither of them should win. I mean, you have Penta and Phoenix. They're mainly a tag team. You could technically say Roosh and Andrade are because they still kind of are.
Yeah, they're more of a faction than a tag team.
Well, they kicked out fucking what's his face last week. I can't remember who it is.
Yeah, go on. It doesn't matter.
And then Dante Martin.
Yeah.
Who incredible kid. But I feel like out of all of these people, Andrade, who was former NXT champion, has the possibility to be put up in that spot and put on a good title match, whenever that may be, against. We'll talk about who might be the winner.
We'll talk about that.
But I feel like Andrade needs to win and should win.
I'm with you. I'm going to go Andrade here as well, just because I want him to win. They haven't really done much with him in AEW. First, they paired him up with Matt's Family Secret Office, or whatever the fuck they were called. Then became the Andrade Secret Office. Now they're the La Facción Secret Office de Ingobernables de Japón, or Mexico, whatever the fuck they're being called now.
Exactly. He's constantly in factions. Just let him be a singles wrestler.
Yes, exactly. From everyone there, aside from the Joker, because there's no way of knowing until the actual show.
We have no idea.
The only ones I see as credible contenders for the world title, because that's what the winner is going to get as a world title match in the future, is Claudio Mastacholi, Andrade, and Penta Cero Miedo. Penta, as much as I like him, he's a former TNA world champion. They only see him as a tag team guy.
Yep.
And your statements, what you were saying about Claudio, rings true. I'm going to go with Andrade here, unless the Joker is MJF. If the Joker is MJF, I'm going to say MJF.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be, well, because, like, if you think about it, the 9 times out of 10, the Joker wins, whatever it is.
True.
Heyman was the Joker in the last ladder match, which got him a title shot. I'm trying to think of past, like, Jokers in the past for, like, random battle royals and shit.
Like Wardlow, one of them? Or Darby?
Brian Cage was one. He won that match.
Yes, Brian Cage. I forgot. It was some big guy, and I couldn't remember. Is it Wardlow? Or was it someone else? I'm sorry. We feel differently about Wardlow. It's okay. We will.
But 9 times out of 10, the Joker wins. If it's like a big name, and Tony Khan keeps talking about, this is gonna be the best show ever. Okay, you have 13 matches total, including your pre-show matches. Let's relax.
I don't think they'll do it, but something I'd love to see is for the Joker to be a New Japan talent that's gonna have a one-off match. Like, let's say it's like Tetsuya Naito. Let's say, like, just throwing that.
Please pronounce his name correctly.
I can't remember them. I'll let you pronounce them. I'll say it like the incorrect way, and then you'll correct me afterwards.
If I remember the correct pronunciations, yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I will say the incorrect way that I know how to say their names, and then you will correct me if you know how to say it. How's that sound? All right. So Tetsuya Naito.
Titty Suitor Naito.
Titty Suitor Naito. Like, that could be an option, or a Kazuchika Okada could win. Like, could be a Joker.
All I know is Uganda, I think. Is
something Uganda. All right. So titties, Natos, and Ugandas. Like those are the Jokers I'd like to see, but I don't think we'll get those.
I mean, well, Mox even like kind of hinted at it in his promo. He's like, could be a New Japan guy for another one-off match. And then he was like, hey, Rocky, you got anybody left? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Is there like a name, a free agent name that we're just like not thinking of that could show
up? Nobody really like comes to mind. I mean, the only like quote unquote free agents that I know of that I do not want and do not think will show up in AEW, especially at this event. Braun Strowman, apparently, and Bray Wyatt. Which if Bray goes to AEW, no. No, that's not where he belongs.
No.
I keep seeing reports that are probably false, but apparently Malachi wants to leave. But he's also in a contract for 5 more years.
Yeah, no, that's
so. I don't know, the whole thing's shady.
The Joker's the big wild card here, man. It's just like having to second guess everything.
What if it's fucking just Sammy?
Man.
If it's Sammy Guevara, I'm throwing something.
I'm throwing Tay Conti. I'm throwing tomatoes at the screen.
I'm throwing tomatoes, bricks, chairs,
everything.
Humans. I'm throwing everything.
Anything you can get your hands on. Oh my god!
Yeah.
All right, so let's just lock in here because we rambled a little bit too much on this one, longer than I thought we were going to. Andrade. We're both in agreement. Unless the Joker's MJF, in which case I say MJF.
Yeah, unless it's MJF, I'm not.
All right. Next match on the docket, which is probably one of the matches I care about the least, is FTR and Wardlow taking on Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. They just showed up and showed the Machine Guns. What was it like? Last week? Was it last week?
So it was 2 weeks ago that Lethal. Or no, technically it was Sanjay Dutt who was like, oh yeah, like, Lethal's gonna have partners. This is not gonna be me and Saddam Singh. No, it's gonna be the Motor City Machine Guns. And then, I think it was last week on, just Rampage, Chris Sabin, one half of Motor City Machine Guns, came out with Lethal. Because I don't know where the fuck Alex Shelley was, but
fuck if I know. Oh, he was in the NXT for a spell there with Kushida being the tag team.
Yeah, I know that.
That was the last time I seen Alex Shelley.
Well, they're both in Impact.
I don't watch Impact.
I watch Impact through Twitter, basically.
Okay, fair enough. How most people watch it.
I think Shelley is like number one contender for the title right now. I think. Don't hold me to it.
I won't. Don't worry. We don't have to spend too much time on here. It's one, because I don't think you need to, and then B, we took a little bit longer on the Casino ladder match. What do you have here and why? FTR and Wardlow, or Morrissey Machine Guns and Jay Lethal?
I mean, I have FTR and War Daddy himself. Mainly because FTR are 3-time champions at the moment, tag champs, and Wardlow's your TNT champion, and you're not utilizing him the way you need to be. Yeah. And the fact that this could have been 2 separate matches, fuck it. You could have just thrown Lethal versus Wardlow as a rematch on the 0 hour. I wouldn't be mad. I don't care. Or just take one of the 800 matches you have off. And then just give us FTR and Motor City Machine Guns, because that's the tag team match that they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, FTR was like, we want to face we have one more team on our bucket list.
Yeah.
Motor City Machine Guns. And then it happened. So I don't like that this became a 6-man tag, especially because you have the whole trios tournament happening.
Right.
But I do have FTR and Wardlow, because as great as MC and G are, you can't have FTR and Wardlow lose.
No, I'm with you here. I got FTR and Wardlow. It's not even a foregone conclusion, for the simple fact that Mercy Machine Gun don't even go here. They don't even go here. So this, they're not even AEW. So obviously they're gonna take that. Oh, you know how Tony Khan books wrestlers that don't belong to AEW contractually. They lose.
I mean, technically speaking, Jay Lethal. Oh no, Jay Lethal's both. I think
Jay Lethal goes both ways.
So do I.
There you
go.
Spade is I will say I do want to see more City Machine Guns versus FTR, at some point, but I wouldn't be mad if I never see it either. Because I've never been big on the Machine Guns. I've never been big on them. I've never been high on them. It's mostly due to Chris Sabin. I'm not a big Chris Sabin guy.
That's fair.
Yeah, he kind of he gives me douche vibes, which I like. He gives me Sammy Guevara vibes sometimes.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah, so we got that. So let's move on. Then we both got the same thing: FTR and War Daddy, or whatever you want to call him. Next up, we got Jungle Boy taking on Christian Cage. Who do you have here and why, Katie?
So this whole thing started because Christian was mad that Jurassic Express lost, which whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, you kind of have to think Jungle Boy's gonna win this, unless you have the Swerve being Luchasaurus legit turns on Jungle Boy.
Right.
And actually stays with Christian, which I don't necessarily think it's gonna happen. But I have Jungle Boy winning anyways, because they keep playing up that Christian's hurt. Jungle Boy kind of needs something. He needs the win, but he also needs the momentum back, because Jungle Boy at one point did challenge for the title. That's a good competitor to have. Jack Perry has definitely increased his value and his in-ring stuff since being in AEW. He's an AEW guy. He looks incredible.
Yeah, I think he just needs to bulk up a little bit, because he kind of looks like a taller Marco Stunt to me.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. Look, I want to say I want Christian to win here, because I don't have a personal investment in Jungle Boy. The only person in that 3-person group when Marco Stunt was in it was Luchasaurus for me. And even then, I'm not too high on Jungle Boy. If Jungle Boy wins here, does the feud end? Is my question. And I kind of covered this with the Clash of the Castle stuff with Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins as well. if the babyface wins here, is that the end of the feud, or can they continue the feud if the babyface wins?
I mean, I think
the
this
heel
would
has
be
to win.
the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jungle Boy also tried to quite literally run Christian over with a car. So is Jack really the babyface here? He attempted vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah.
Does that consider you a babyface?
Depends on who you're trying to have vehicular manslaughter against. Depends on the individual that you're trying to murder.
Touche. But I think Jungle Boy, but it very well could be either.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go Christian. I'm just gonna go Christian here just because he's the bigger name and Tony Khan does. I feel like he's just gonna give it to Christian just because he's the bigger name. Yeah, that's another question. That's another topic for another day. Next up, we have another singles match, another grudge match. We have Ricky Starks taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. Jesus, I cannot speak at the moment. Katie, what do you have here, Starks or Hobbs?
I mean, Ricky Starks.
Pretty Ricky.
Listen, that promo, man, give this boy a medal. That was poetry. The emotion, the facial features, the body language, everything. Like, that kid's a star, hands down. And the fact that they're finally they finally broke up Team Taz, and Starks can be a single star, because that's what everyone has been saying. Like, he didn't need Taz on the mic to talk for him, because he has proven time and time again he can talk for himself. Kid's fantastic in the ring. Had neck issues a year or two ago. Came back, working fine. Because this is and Matt brought this up last week, I think, on SmackDown Raw. The factory being involved, I was excited for this match when it first was getting teased, because I was like, oh my god, Hobbs finally turned on Starks. We're getting this. Cool. And then the factory got involved for no goddamn reason. We're literally getting QT versus Ricky on Rampage. Why?
Do you think the factory might cost Ricky the match?
It's very possible. This is another one where I think it can go either way. If they want to continue to build Hobbs as the next person to go after Wardlow, perhaps, then you have him win over Ricky.
Right.
But if you want Ricky to be the next one you build up to go after Wardlow, or insert world champion here,
Claudio,
then you have him win. Yeah, or Claudio. You have him go after Yuta. They're the same kind of build. You can, depending on how TK wants to do this, either way, either one could win, and be, if built correctly, can lead to.
That's the big if. That's a big if, because I feel like right now there is some concern or doubt in the whole book correctly aspect of Tony Khan right now, because look what happened with Wardlow. He was the hottest guy in the company, and then they had the match that they had at Double or Nothing. It just kind of felt like an obligation, and they haven't really done much with Wardlow ever since. They rushed the whole TNT title match with Scorpio Sky. I don't know if it was due to the injury or not, but Wardlow should have had that moment at Double or Nothing. It should have been his Batista 2005 moment over Triple H. He should be your Batista right now. He should be in that conversation to challenge Mox, but he's not.
He should be, but Tony Khan sucks and can't book people correctly. So
no, Booker of the Year apparently. I'm gonna give it to Ricky Starks just because I like him a little bit more than Jungle Boy, and I don't think they're gonna have the two baby faces win here between those two matches. I think either Jungle Boy wins or Ricky wins, and they're gonna give the heel winning the other match. I think I'm gonna give it to Ricky here. I think he's gonna overcome the odds. I think the factory might come into to be a factor in the match, but I think Ricky's gonna overcome those odds, and I think he's gonna get the victory over Powerhouse Hobbs. Plus, we also know Tony Khan doesn't like to properly book black wrestlers unless they're Jade Cargill. So there we go.
I mean, look how many black wrestlers he has on this card.
He put all the black wrestlers against each other. That's how much he doesn't want to book them.
Well, I mean, they're on the card.
Yeah, that's true.
It's more than we've gotten in the past from him. So
that's true. That's true. All right, let's move on to the next match. Speaking of which, we have the other match I'm most looking forward to. We have Swerve in Our Glory, the current AEW Tag Team Champions, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, taking on the Acclaimed. Obviously, I'm just going to go ahead and kick things off here. Like, obviously, I'm going to go with the Acclaimed. I don't know if they're going to win, but I sure as hell hope they win. I pray to God they win. They're the most over thing in AEW, or one of the most over thing in AEW, in my opinion, currently. And I think, like, Swerve in Our Glory, they were kind of like a thrown together tag team, and Swerve probably works best as a single star, and so does Keith Lee. Keith Lee is a prime example of a guy that, if he wasn't in this tag team title match, he would be an option to be in that Joker spot and actually win that Joker spot.
Yeah.
Keith Lee should be in that world title picture. He should be facing off against Wardlow for the TNT title. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to like manifest it into existence and say that the Acclaim get the tag titles. They're hot. They're one of the hottest acts in AEW. I think you put the titles on them while they're hot. Unfortunately, they haven't done much with Swerve in Our Glory. They should have never put the titles on them. They should have kept it on the Bucks. And this should have been Bucks versus FTR for all the marbles, and FTR going on top and getting every single title. They should have done that match.
I mean, again, there's a lot they could have done, and they didn't do. I'm like kind of torn because I feel I like my heart kind of wants the Acclaim to win because they are one of the most over acts you have in AEW. Stop. They have been a tag team from the jump. I mean, Swerve in Our Glory have only been champs for like a few months,
maybe
if that.
Maybe two.
Yeah, give or take. So they haven't been champs long. Mm-hmm. So I feel like because then if the Acclaimed win, then their first tag feud can be with the Ass Boys. Yes. They already have that chemistry in the making and everything.
Yeah, especially the storyline is like already like in there.
It's there. Yeah. But I kind of feel like there won't be a lot of title changes on this card. So I have Swerve in Our Glory still winning, but I think I think it'll be them, but like my heart wants the Acclaim.
All right, fair enough. That's a fair analysis of the match right there. Because we're going to have new champions crowned, but it's probably going to be champions that are vacant at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the next match on the card, which is the vacated AEW Women's Championship. We have a Fatal 4-Way match between Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Obviously, Thunder Rosa vacated the title. This is going to be the interim Women's Championship.
Don't even get me started on it, but yes.
Stupid. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah. Let us know what you just talk about this match real quick for me, Katie.
I got you. So Toni, Britt, Jamie, Shida, you could have Toni winning, which is who I have. I don't think Britt should be a 2-time champ. I also don't think she should be a 2-time champ. I feel like the company is still so new that you don't necessarily need to have 2-time champions already. So I feel like if you put the title on Toni, because that is one of your biggest stars that you brought in women-wise. I mean, Statlander was supposed to be probably in either this spot or the TBS title spot. And then, Tegan knocks herself. So, I'm thinking Toni, but I have seen a lot of chatter that it could be like a big swerve and be Jamie. But I don't, because Jamie Hayter's kind of just Britt's lackey. She doesn't really do a lot. She's basically there, or was there, to make sure Britt constantly won.
Yeah.
And sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, I think Jamie Hayter is probably like the one that's least likely to walk away with this. Either they're gonna go with the safe bet and give it a Britt, or they're gonna crown Tony as champion.
Because like it was supposed to just be Rosa and Tony. So, and I had a feeling Rosa was going to lose the title regardless. So I have a feeling it's just going to be Tony. Because then you have like a good foundation to restart building a women's division that Tony barely uses and doesn't know how to use. So I feel like Tony's the best bet because I love Britt. I don't want to see her as champion. And Shida, you just brought back because you've had her where? Who knows? So, like, you literally brought her back last week. Yeah. Like a week or two ago.
No, I get you here. Like, as much as I like Shida, like, they like you said, she's been MIA. We don't know what they've been doing with her. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be Tony, just for the simple fact she was already the number one contender to face Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
And if all things are considered, she was probably gonna beat Thunder Rosa, considering that again another women's wrestler has not been used properly by Tony Khan. So he just likes to hotshot the titles, and then like unless he wants to go with the safe bet here, it's gonna be Britt. If not, it's gonna be Tony. But I got Tony here.
Yeah, so do I.
All right, fair enough. We'll just stay with the women's wrestling on All Out and go with the real women's champion of AEW, which is Jade Cargill defending the TBS championship against Athena. What do you got here and why?
So originally I was thinking Jade was going to hit 50, but I don't think she's going to, because, you know, everyone compares her. As much as I hate the comparison, people compare her to Goldberg, and then, you know, in WCW, he had the whole 50-0 thing or whatever. So then originally I was thinking, okay, cool. You have Jade be this dominant champion. You have her go 50-0 or whatever, and then have her lose. But like I mentioned before, I think Statlander was supposed to be in this spot first and possibly take the title off Jade. Now that Athena's in this spot, I definitely think Athena will win, and Jade won't hit the 50-0 like I originally was thinking. Because I don't remember where I said it or how long ago I said it. I said she's either going to hit 50-0 or lose to Athena. Like, it was going to be one or the other. So, and I don't think she's hitting 50-0. This will be like...
What if she does both? What if she defeats Athena either via shenanigans or just like Athena loses straight up and then gets a rematch later down the line? She could still lose to Athena and still get 50. So they can do both. They can have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, but then what are you going to do in between that? Like, that's a whole nother... I think Jade's only at like 35, 36, possibly a little higher, but she's not. She hasn't hit 40-0 yet.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother 10 matches, whenever those may be. I think this might be like a good time to take the belt off Jade and put it on Athena, because that gives Jade more time to like go back, train more because she's training with Bryan Danielson, and it shows. Like, she has definitely improved since starting in AEW.
Right.
But you have Athena, who is a seasoned veteran at this point, and as much as shit she gets from people, she's a damn good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's again with like, you have Tony as like your women's champ, and you have Athena as your secondary women's champ. That's a good like reset period, and that way you're not having the typical names you always have in the title pictures. You have new names, new talents that you're trying to focus on, and not just Britt and Shida and Rosa and Jade.
The same 4. All right. So is your official prediction going to be Athena then?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I got Athena's here as well. Yes, you can go with Jade because obviously she's been the most consistent dominant champion in all of AEW if you really think about it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Athena. I feel like if she doesn't lose to Athena, it's kind of like who else does she lose to? And you kind of run into like a Roman Reigns conundrum where you're just like, you book this person so strongly where no one really feels credible unless there's shenanigans involved, or unless you rebuild someone completely different to be a challenger. So I got Athena with Jade eventually moving on to the main AEW World Title.
Yeah, the women's title. Yeah,
the women's title, and then they'll start booking their main women's champion correctly and properly.
Debatable.
We'll see. All right, so we got 2 matches left, and like I said, there were so many I had to separate everything.
To the second graphic.
Give me 1 sec here. Sorry, Katie.
That was supposed to be the cue, Vince.
Give me again.
To the second graphic.
Dun dun! Look at that! Wow. Got on the first try too.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So before we talk about the big elephant in the room, let's talk about the AEW World Trios Championship Tournament. We saw the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the Elite, beat Aussie Open and Will Ospreay. We have the Best Friends in the finals taking on the Dark Order on Rampage. I thought it was going to be taped tonight because it was in Chicago, but apparently it's actually going to be live.
No, it's for pay-per-views. They usually still do like Dynamite, Rampage, pay-per-view.
Okay. I thought they were just going to do like the taping like on...
No, they usually do like Dynamite and Rampage live like the week of a pay-per-view.
Okay. All right, just to show you how much I pay attention to AEW on the weekly.
It's something I like noticed. It's just like I just single-handedly noticed it's fun.
So I guess what we'll do, since this is going to actually drop before Rampage, so this is going to be available Thursday afternoon, a whole day before Rampage. Let's first talk about Dark Order versus Best Friends, who we think is going to be advancing. Obviously, 10 got an injury. Then Evil Uno, what was the reason why he couldn't actually compete? Because he got attacked by Andrade?
Yeah, so I talked about this on the latest Get Show, I think. I don't know. I literally did the Get Show after I got back from Monday Night Raw, so like I don't really remember much of the episode. 10 like kind of favored his knee, which has already been injured, in their first trios match against the House of Black. I literally had to look because I forgot who they faced. And like he teased his knee injury, and then we saw tonight, crutches, can't compete. Evil Uno came back from Germany, because he's literally in Germany, for like AEW games or something. I don't know. And then was telling Tony Schiavone, no, listen, 10 can't compete. I'll do it. Andrade comes in, tries to pay him off, tells he wants 10 in like his weird faction thing. And then Andrade just beats the shit out of him for no reason, beats him up with 10's crutch. And then Jose the assistant tries to tase 10 out of nowhere for no reason.
Uncalled for.
Unfucking called for. That man is already injured. He ain't gonna do anything. Relax, Jose.
Exactly.
So now we're getting, which I kind of suspected from the jump, the good, the bad, and the hungy. Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Hangman Adam Page. My prediction for the rest of the tournament, Dark Order is gonna win. As I love the Best Friends, but you just add Hangman to this. Come on. It's gonna be the Elite versus the Dark Order with Hangman.
Yeah.
Now, I have been saying I do not want the Elite to fucking win these trios tournaments because, like, Tony Khan waited to do this tournament for Kenny to come back. Whatever. We get it. You're a fanboy. But I don't think they need to be the inaugural champions.
No.
If you put it on Hangman and Silver and Reynolds, who Silver and Reynolds have been a consistent tag team since they started in AEW.
Right.
Like, that's what, like, Dark Order has gone through many people, but that's a consistent tag team you have had.
Were they one of the first recruits, too?
They were, like, the first 2 recruits, yeah. Like, and so like they were from like the OG, like beating people up with Stu and Evil Uno.
Right.
So my thing is, I originally kept saying Adam Cole back here is going to screw the Elite, and they're not going to win. Excuse me. And now there's going to be this whole tension thing because the Bucks asked Hangman to be their partner first.
Yeah.
And it's literally like their last choice because he should have been. So there's going to be all that tension. It's going to be much like the tag match they all had at Revolution 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have anyone but the Elite. So I have the Dark Order winning because I think Tony Khan thinks like a fanboy, and that's kind of how a fanboy would book this. As a fanboy, that's how I would book this.
I'm gonna say it has to. If Hangman is in the tournament and they advance to the finals, obviously, yes, he is. I feel like Hangman has to win, but then Kenny Omega just came back. I'm gonna go Hangman and Dark Order. As much as my common sense is telling me to just go with the obvious pick and go with the Elite because it's the most obvious answer to go with.
Mm.
Would the Young Bucks have dropped the titles if they knew they weren't going to get these trios titles, or did they drop them knowing they were going to get these trios titles with Kenny?
Well, nobody really knew when Kenny was coming back because they dropped the titles months ago.
True.
And the tournament literally got jump started because Tony Khan got wind that Kenny was cleared, and he was like, "Oh man, trios tournament."
Well, if that's the case, wouldn't that add credence to the fact that they're probably just gonna book the Elite to win it?
And that's actually some bullshit if that's the case, because the fact that Tony Khan has literally said on record that he waited for Kenny, and then you're just granting your EVPs titles, bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm sticking with Hangman and Dark Order. I think that's probably the better result here between the two.
Yep.
The Elite can eventually get those trio titles at any point. They're not going anywhere.
They don't need to be inaugural anything.
No, they don't.
No, they weren't the inaugural tag champs. Kenny wasn't the inaugural world champ. They don't need to be the inaugural trios champs. You built the fucking company, kids. Like, you don't need to be the champions first.
Yeah, that's true. All right, moving on to what is the official main event, which we, for 1 week, didn't knew we had a main event, and the week prior to that, we thought it was the main event. Now we're back to this. The clusterfuck that is Jon Moxley versus CM Punk for the AEW World Championship. First and foremost, let's unpack this and say, why give the match on free TV 2 weeks prior, do an injury angle 2 weeks prior, have CM Punk get squashed 2 weeks prior, make it seem like he's injured and can't compete 2 weeks prior, then the week right before, you don't have a main event for your pay-per-view.
It's not even 2 weeks. This match happened last week.
Well, like a week before the pay-per-view. You catch my drift here. Like
I was like 2 weeks. Oh, this shit happened last week.
A week before the pay-per-view.
There you go.
Like over a week before the pay-per-view. Like 10 days before the pay-per-view, give or take.
Yeah.
You have Punk lose. You book this match. Whether you try to like feed into like the backstage drama that there may or may not have been, which you saw how that cost MJF and Wardlow. That kind of felt like an obligation match. Mm-hmm. It kind of felt like you kind of had to do the CM Punk Jon Moxley match because it felt like CM Punk was being a diva, which he might have been. He might not have been. We don't fucking know. You do the injury angle. Why do an injury angle the week prior to the pay-per-view? Like the show before the go-home show, and we're supposed to believe that CM Punk is back. Literally, the way they set this shit up is Moxley comes out, here's the open contract, leaving in the ring, first person there. The minute he left that on the floor, everyone in the locker room should have been running out. But no, Ace Steel is the only one with common sense, grabs that contract, takes it, gives it to CM Punk, and gives him a pep talk to make him feel better in front of Chicago. Like why do that? Like
this should have been your original build for the match. Why do an entire emotional arc in 5 minutes? The week, not even the week, 5 days before your pay-per-view.
It's
what is the point?
Dumb. It's so dumb because
I'm genuinely pissed that this is the main event because I didn't want to fucking see this match again.
No, I didn't, and I'm a CM Punk fan, and this is going to be in Chicago. They took all the wins out of my sales for this match because it's like, okay, let's
They
watch
should
this
have
match.
never did the shit last week in Cleveland.
Why give it on free TV? Period. You just gave it on free TV. You had Punk get squashed. Now the story going into it, he's like the babyface trying to like overcome the odds against Mox. At this point, it's not even about Punk versus Mox. It's about Punk. Can he overcome age and injury? It's about Punk overcoming the odds. The story completely changed from Mox versus Punk to Punk. Does he still got it?
And it's gonna be some shit when you just had Mox, who has been carrying the company on his fucking back.
Yeah.
Did it through the pandemic as your world champion. You have him combine the titles. Now he's like undisputed champion.
Right.
Like, he's not carrying 2 belts. Thank God. You have him win last week, and now
what they should have done.
Gonna have him drop the title to Punk. I'm not gonna be happy with that at all. Because
what they should have done, what they could have done, instead of doing all these interim champions, is literally just have Punk relinquish the championship. It becomes more emotional. We don't know when he's coming back, and he comes back the week, or like, you know what? He doesn't come back until like the go home show, where he's like, CM Punk is gonna address like his injury update or give us an update on his injury, like in Chicago, and it makes it more emotional because it's at home. And then Mox does the whole like open thing. He still don't have a challenger. He still does the open contract thing, and then that's where Ace Steel grabs it and brings it to Punk. You can still do everything you wanted to do tonight. Well, this is being recorded the night of Dynamite, by the way. Everything you did this week on Dynamite without doing the match. Because I feel like now at this point, if Punk doesn't win, he kind of looks like a piece of shit. Kind of looks like shitty if he doesn't win. If he doesn't overcome the odds. And then if Mox doesn't win, he kind of looks like, oh, that was a fluke win that he had over Punk.
Yeah, and like, TK fucked this situation up.
In the ass. No.
We shouldn't have had the squash match on Dynamite a week or 10 days before your pay-per-view.
Mm.
People were genuine, and it wasn't even your main event of the show. And people were and genuinely still are pissed about that. I've seen both sides of it. I've seen, yeah, we got the squash match, but now we're going to get the match that we originally were supposed to get, probably. Like a long-winded match. And then I've seen people be like, what was the point of this? Now we have to sit through a longer match when we could have just had one, and now we have two.
I think my biggest argument here, and it's not even like the fact that they've had two matches. It's, if you want to sit here and argue for like Danielson or Omega or Jericho, you can. But if you sit here and tell me right now who are the two biggest names, two of the biggest stars in AEW, it's Jon Moxley and CM Punk, without question to me. Those are the two biggest names. Those are the two biggest draws. Those are the two biggest guys. That's your big money match. Why give it away on free TV? That's some WCW shit where they did Hogan versus Goldberg on WCW. And it's like, why do that? Like that's all like here's the thing. I don't hate AEW. They just give me reasons to critique them and criticize them all the time. Mostly Tony Khan. But it's like, I'm critical of all wrestling. Up until recently, I was very critical of Raw and SmackDown, and even 2.0. While you love 2.0, there were a lot of stuff that I was critical about it. Right now, like, it's like, why should I even care about this match when you already gave it to me on free TV and you already kind of showed me that Jon Moxley can beat the fuck out of CM Punk? The only way I would have been okay with this is if CM Punk in Chicago, the only place in the entire country or world, planet, where he wouldn't get booed for this and would get like the crowd popping for is if he cheats, does every single thing. He turns heel mid-match. And maybe they can still do that. But unless CM Punk turns heel here, Jon Moxley walks away looking like a goof for losing to CM Punk.
It's literally a damned if you do, a damned if you don't.
Yeah,
scenario they've been put into now, because you have Mox win, people will be happy. Some people will be happy. Other people will be like, okay, well, Punk should have won. You're in Chicago. And then you'll have people, if Punk wins, what was the point of Punk losing that last match? Mox should still be champ. It's literally people are pissed off anyways about everything. But this is going to fuck up a lot, because you have to think long term. Mm-hmm. Can Punk still really go like that? Especially when he said his foot is at 100%, but not a normal 100%. You were gone for how long and you rushed back?
Yeah, even he said he rushed back.
So I think Mox wins and Punk goes away for a little bit again.
Again, if that was they could have still done that with
the whole last week, it shouldn't have that match should not have happened.
It shouldn't have happened
because it really just ruined a match. And like I said, I'm genuinely annoyed that this is your main event for All Out, unless you have a big return, unless you have MJF return after this. And even then, I don't necessarily care.
Not really, no. The only way that I would possibly care is if the Joker turns out to be like John Cena and he challenges for the AEW World Title immediately after the match, or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, WWE through and through.
I think my prediction, and this might be a homer pick or not. I think they don't. I'm gonna give some credit to AEW and say that they didn't just do the match just for Punk not to walk away with the victory here. I'm gonna say Punk wins if he cheats and turns heel in mid-match or like before a match or something. But if not, it has to be Moxley.
I have Mox winning just to basically solidify the fact that Punk can't hang right now. Because he said, Punk is used to be called the modern day 60-minute match man or whatever he said in his promo. And then think about all the matches Punk has had while being in AEW. None of them have been longer than a half an hour. Yeah. The dog collar match doesn't count because that was all hell breaking loose. Because that wasn't really wrestling. That was just brutalization. Yeah. So I have Mox winning, especially because you literally just gave him the fucking titles.
Yeah. I'm going to say logic dictates Mox. However, you've established
cocaine.
Yeah. So cocaine logic dictates CM Punk winning as a babyface. So I'm going to go with CM Punk winning on Sunday. I'm not saying that's the best option. I'm not saying that's what I most likely believe. It's just probably the one that's going to happen. I don't know. You can convince me either or. This is the one match.
This is the one match. At this point, I don't care.
Me either. I don't care.
The promos were good, but I do not care about this match right now because I'm just still so annoyed with everything that happened last week, and then we're getting literally the same fucking match.
Exactly. Whatever. Well, Katie, thank you for joining me today. Before you sign off, and we sign off all together, let everyone know where they can find you and Shaylee.
Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at KatieWrestling13. The link to my bio to all things She Lead Showcase, twitch.tv/She Lead Showcase. Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We will be on Thursday. I promise this week. YouTube.com/She Lead Showcase. I would say watch the videos because they're way more entertaining. I just dropped a vlog. I was in Chicago seeing my friends. This guy over here
made a cameo in the vlog.
He's there. He made a cameo once or twice.
Yeah, there you
Vince is in the vlog, as well as some other people you may have seen on this channel. So go check that out. But if you want to listen to past stuff I've done, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Yeah, everything's just on there. Just go check everything out. I do a lot of shows. I do a lot of things. Everything I've done is somewhere. Find it. Have fun.
Exactly. There you go. Well, Katie, thanks again for being on the show. I appreciate it. And I'll catch you this week on SmackDown Raw.
See you on Friday.
Yeah, later, Katie. All right, so that was Katie. Thanks again for Katie being on the show. Before we sign off, I'd like to plug the rest of the show's socials. So you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince. You can follow the show and everything in the link tree in my bio, which is linktree/SESVince. You can find everything Straight Talk there. Obviously, you can also find my SmackDown Raw podcast content as well there. And just tweet at me. Let me know. Who do you think is going to win this weekend at hashtag NXT Worlds Collide, hashtag WWE Clash of the Castle, and of course, AEW All Out. Who do you think is going to walk away victorious? So let us know what you guys think. And once again, thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Straight Talk Podcast. Later, y'all.